Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. The S&P 500 was up 0.4% today. 2 days in a row now. We've had a good update. That's nice. We haven't seen that for a while. But very interesting. It started off the day down quite a bit, over 1% in the morning. The S&P 500 was down. And one of the things that happened was that, we were waiting for this vote that would happen for the raising the debt ceiling. And then all the reports are the Republicans aren't going to vote for it. And all of a sudden in the afternoon, we heard a report that they were willing to let the Democrats raise the debt ceiling a certain dollar amount so that they would have enough money to last to December. So the market saw that as a good thing. I see that as a good thing too, because the thing that I looked at this whole time was two sides. Number one is, are the Republicans willing to let the US default in an attempt to win more seats in the midterm? I wasn't positive one way or another. Number two, if they were going to do that, did the Democrats have a good path to go down, and could they execute that in time before the default? That was a little bit in suspect too. Last Tuesday, a little over a week ago, Biden said that, we weren't going to change the filibuster to raise the debt ceiling. Well, yesterday, this Tuesday, all of a sudden that story changed, and Biden's coming out and saying that's a real possibility. I think that's the easiest, fastest, and cleanest way to raise this debt ceiling. And I do think that puts some pressure on the Republicans to then come forward and say, hey, we'd be willing to do something here. And, because they don't want the filibuster to be changed, because obviously if you change it for the debt ceiling, you could change it for voting rights, you could change it for a whole bunch of different things theoretically, and it could be a bit of a slippery slope. So now the problem with what the Republicans are offering right now is that they are offering a certain dollar amount that they will allow happen so that the government can operate until December. That's not normal. Usually what's is done on the debt ceiling increase is for a certain amount of time, a certain date in the future, where Congress has to come back and approve it again. And there's a lot of Democrats that don't want to put a dollar amount on it, because then they have to run against that dollar amount in the midterms. The other thing is, what looks like they're doing here is trying to give the Democrats more time to put the debt ceiling increase inside of the reconciliation package. So they're still negotiating that package, so it gives them more time to do that. But the Democrats don't want to put it in the package, because when you put it through reconciliation, again, you have to put a dollar amount instead of just saying, hey, I think they've raised the debt ceiling 57 times, and every single time it's been some dates in the future. So that's what people are used to. And of course, then those Democrats would have to run against potentially that dollar amount. Look at how much the Democrats raised the debt to get this package through, which isn't a fair argument, because really raising the debt is to pay for everything that's happened, both future until that debt limit date comes up, and everything we did in the past. But nonetheless, how politics work. They can sometimes narrow in on certain things, and if you don't know all of the details, it could be damaging to your campaign, so to speak. So this is still an ongoing thing, but I do think it's very important that the Republicans came forward and that there's some type of a negotiation started here. There seems to be, at least in my opinion, some willingness to not let this go into default. We've had two good up days in a row. If things are decent tomorrow, I'm going to start to nibble back in again with the money that we took off the table over the last 2 weeks. We're at a lower point now that would help our rates of return here, because we've missed out on some of the downturn with part of that money. So that would be great. Again, this is mostly on the IRAs as far as that goes, but nonetheless, a really interesting time frame as usual. Very fascinating to see what happens tomorrow with this conversation that's happening with the debt ceiling. Thank you very much.